Welcome to the MadTrio podcast. This week we have the California Pariah, Jonathan Charney James, the Fat Man Stevens, and Ryan decided to show up.
Yeah, he's phoning it in anyways.
Yeah. He's just lazy is what he is. He doesn't call, he doesn't write. I'm the one who has to call him. Matter of fact, when I text him, I hear back months later.
If that.
And it's not like snail mail when it actually has to go through somebody's hands. No, it's a fucking text.
Well, it has to go through the CIA warehouse.
I'll start texting you back like I'm writing from the fucking front lines of the Civil War.
Dude, that would be awesome.
You actually should. That might get me to text you more often.
Right?
2 months later, I hope this letter reaches you in good health.
Too bad.
Look out the mob for me.
Too bad I've actually gotten that message. At some point, you replied to me. It's like, so what was the original message?
Why don't you look up?
or it's like I deleted the message because I had to do something. I needed space or blah blah blah. And he replies like, do me a favor. Can you send me the rest of that message? It sounds important.
Ryan, just delete the Pornhub app. Just delete it. Okay, it'll save you a lot of space and bytes and memory and everything, and it'll actually probably make it so your phone actually rings when people are calling.
No, what he should do is just.
I don't have an app. That's leaving a trail. See, all these fucking jokes lately, these last bunch of years. If I die, delete my browser history.
Oh yeah.
Use a fucking private browser and a fucking in a VPN.
Yeah.
Fucking amateur.
No, what Ryan really needs to do is just disable the. What Ryan really needs to do is just disable the download function.
These are people that didn't look up porn on their parents' computer and have to delete shit.
See, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I had floppy disks of porn. Okay, you understand? Fucking floppy disks. You can't have that shit just hard drive.
And you could never tell what it was because it was all pixelated. Hey, that looks like it's either Laura Croft or a boob.
Man.
Yeah, back in the day, you wanted to jerk off on the home computer. You had to pull the fucking the panel of the air conditioning duct off and reach in where you duct tape the fucking the deep. And then after you're done watching it, you fucking run the shred fucking scan for McAfee. I mean, come on, the steps.
You also have to defrag it so that you can actually find all the little hidden things too, the cookies.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Delete my browser history. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that's freaking amateur hour. You're going to be able to find everything on there. I mean, the CIA is going to come in and be like, this dude, oh my God, yeah. Ted Bundy looked at worse shit than this.
Besides, let's be honest. The least sketchy thing Ryan does is his porn viewing.
You're actually right.
Hey, look, I'm a firm believer that no man should ever be judged by his fucking porn choice. Because if so, we're all psychopaths. That's all there is to
it. I would say there's a lot of twisted people that have found their people online.
Well, fuck.
Put it simply.
For sure.
Well, fuck. I've been browsing Reddit. Occasionally, I'll go through the rabbit hole.
Oh God!
And then I'll find. There's a couple of things that I've never been able to unsee, so I'm going to share them with you so you too can be as emotionally scarred as I am. Reddit.com/r/clop
Yep.
is one of the most perverse things I've ever seen.
There's words.
I'm sorry, /what?
Clop.
Yeah. CLOP. Are you looking it up
right now? He's like, hold on, I gotta pull my phone off my ear for a second.
It's like,
keep your other hand away from your pants.
I don't want to hear that. Come on.
Shove it up your nose.
Now that we're audio only, we'll hear that.
Oh God. Nobody should hear that. Even Amber wears earplugs.
So I shouldn't eat Chex Mix into the fucking mic then?
No, you should do that.
That's a lot better than the other sound. So are you actually on it?
No, I don't think so.
So if you don't know what it is, it's My Little Kitty, not My Little Kitty, it's My Little Pony porn.
Jesus Christ. My Little Kitty. I'm sure there is that porn too.
You know what? It's sad that you said that right away because I was literally fucking going into it right now.
and then there was the one subreddit, which I literally.
God, this is the most innocuous shit of all time.
Hey, Rule 34. And the other one that I literally, I don't understand why it exists. I understand, clop, clop, because maybe somebody gets off by horses and it's better than raping them. I mean, I don't know. There was a subreddit I ran into that women would show pictures of their sanitary products. And all the comments were guys, because I was like, why does it exist? I'll dial down in the comments, take a look, and then...
But John, I mean, Rule 34.
I was trying to figure out why this is a Rule 34, though.
Because it exists. That is literally what Rule 34 is about. If it exists, there is a porn of it.
Okay, let's just say that I was trying to figure out the type of person that would get their jollies...
You really, really, really want to be traumatized, John, by Reddit. Hold on. Go to AMA. You love AMA. Go to Reddit AMA and go to most controversial.
No. Because I've read some of those at the time when they were happening. That's enough of that.
I did not know that there was a Reddit for bestiality with their dogs, but there are.
Yeah.
I didn't think that they would have a Reddit for it, but they do.
There's one thing.
And I only found that because of AMA.
So what type of person says, wow, look at that French poodle. I'd love to do that.
Well, the AMA that I found, the chick was, I sleep with my dog. I've been sleeping with my dog since I was 12. And there were people on there like, dude, you're full of shit. And some guy goes on there, nope, she has a Reddit profile where she posts pictures of her having sex with her dog.
Well, I have to say,
you hear things like that happening, and then you envision the person who would actually be doing that.
She wasn't ugly.
And see, regardless,
I mean, she didn't look like a dog.
It's one of those things where you almost don't even recognize it as a real person.
Does she play tricks? Roll over.
Oh God, I did not want to get that into this Reddit.
No, but there's some subreddits I found that I'll spend like 10 minutes on just trying to figure out like what type of person. And I'm left, every time I've done that, I've actually left a little bit sadder from humanity, but it also makes me feel better about myself because I realized, besides some of my issues, I'm not as fucked up as I thought.
Yeah.
It's like going to a state fair.
The beautiful thing about the internet is solidarity.
Yeah.
And look, I'm glad there's 29,000 people that are on this on the clop clop.
Holy shit.
I don't think I'm ever going to stop saying clop clop now. But 29,000 people, okay? Now,
Jesus
I'm
Christ.
perfectly fine with a lot of these people finding their groups,
Yeah.
There's certain people I don't necessarily want to find a group, though. I don't want the bestiality crowd to fucking have that kind of solidarity.
Right? Or the kitty
Look,
porn.
I'm fine with like cartoon porn, you know what I mean? The My Little Pony shit. I was scrolling through
Or
these, and most of them are
hentai.
humanoid type figures, you know what I mean? It might as well
I'm
just
cool
be
with people having
regular
hentai
cartoons.
fantasies.
So you know what the funniest thing is about 29,000 of them? I bet 28,999 are men.
Oh, I guarantee there's probably more than that are men that are...
I highly doubt there's any women in there going, hey, watching that pony, get it up the...
Dude,
No,
you
yeah, they're
never know.
definitely all bronies, for sure.
Bronies.
I forgot about that term.
But no, Ryan brings up a good point is, you want to think like somebody that's into like bestiality or clop clop or, like neck beards or ugly looking people, but they're not all going to be that.
Okay, hold on. This is the funniest thing I've read this week. It's a documentary. So guess what the title is? Bronies, the extremely unexpected adult fans of My Little Pony.
See, but that's fine. That's adorable. There's a bunch of
No, that's not adorable.
Out there that
Oh, Jesus
that
Christ.
Like, hey, I like this cartoon. That's geared towards 8-year-olds.
It's like he's going to go to freaking My Little Pony Land and eat everybody.
So I love cartoons. I love anime. I love anything that's animated. But to declare my fandom as something like, yeah, I'm a brony. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm being judgmental, but hell, sue me. This is the internet. Is a little bit much for me. Saying like I'm a I don't know. What would you call it? I mean, name your favorite like cartoon as a kid. Yay, I'm a Thunder something or other. Or I'm a GI. It just crossed.
GI Bro.
Right? It crosses. To me, it crosses to the line of being.
Sorry, GI Bro got me laughing.
Creepy? You mean like Booker T's character from WCW?
No, you got bronies.
Well, no, but
so if they're into like GI Joe porn, GI Bro.
So no, Booker T's for a while was actually named GI Bro.
Oh,
that's why. So I just, I don't get it. I mean, I think it's creepy. I'm being judgmental, but honestly, on this, what are you gonna do?
So, oh God, what was that show on Netflix that had the guy going and recording death row inmates? Ryan, the FBI guy.
Oh shit! I know what you're talking about. I don't remember
the name of the show, and it was a good show. And it was about a guy going the early days of the FBI investigating serial killers. And so what I'm getting at is Netflix released a show about Ted Bundy and the tapes that they got him to record.
Oh yeah, I've heard about
FBI, but it was a news reporter.
I actually heard about this today.
So I was watching that today, and one of the things that Ryan kind of brought up that they brought up in it as well is they didn't have the term serial killer when they were investigating Ted Bundy.
Because serial killer just meant somebody who eats a lot of cereal.
Probably at the time. Anyway.
Man, I killed that cereal box.
They were saying, though,
damn it, that was funny.
They weren't used to this type of crime, and they were trying to figure out what type of person would commit this. And their idea of the type of person that would actually do this didn't quite match up with Ted Bundy's persona. They weren't expecting somebody who was, a political activist, going to law school. They weren't expecting that type of man.
Who like to keep body parts in refrigerators.
So, but as Ryan brought up, is that, that's kind of the thing with the internet is when you go and you're in all these groups and you start finding that there's like, as Ryan said, 29,000 people that are into My Little Pony porn that you know of. So it kind of makes people more inclined to, I guess, justify that.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of what I'm thinking is, that's the thing with the internet is that, you find your niche a lot easier and you find other people are into that type of niche.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like the incels. You find a group of people that you for some reason just click with.
That's exactly what I was fucking talking about. There's a positive version of this and a really, really dark version of this.
Yeah.
The positive one is like, oh fuck, I'm normal. I'm not the weird one. There's other people that are. I mean, it's the reason we all love stand-up comedy. You know what I mean? It's these people that are sort of just speaking truth. And oh fuck, I thought I was the only one that did that. Turns out I'm not. You know what I mean?
Actually, you want to know the other reason I like stand-up comedy after listening to the Joe Rogan show? Is when it comes to stand-up comics, yeah, they're funnier, but they're more damaged than me, so it still makes me feel better.
True.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but then there's the really opposite side of that where you get that super negative feedback loop, like the fucking incels. It's like, God damn, if there was a group of people I wish never found each other.
Well,
I agree.
It was like, hey, it's almost more of like a support group, but the way the Vice show fucking portrayed it was just like, oh, these dudes are all gonna get together and murder people together, one day.
Well, you would think in some way it would be healthy, but it turns out to be negative because there's no one person there going, hold on, time out, They're all going.
The thing is that there's no moderator. There's nobody saying like, "Hey, this is what the goal of this particular group is." Like,
there's no Jones.
Like, yeah, it's a bunch of trolls all just feeding off their trolldom, and then
you just got to be careful of the drink.
Like fucking road rage, you know what I mean? You get pissed off at somebody, and if the guy looks pissed off at you, it makes you even more pissed off.
So I'm sorry, I got to interrupt real quick. So, the guy who was supposed to technically guest host last week
Got stuck in the Castro district.
Yeah, so he texted the wrong person. And if you're listening to this, yes, I'm busting you on this. He just texted me the wrong thing. And he said, "Sure thing, lover." He said, "Ha ha ha, oops." It's like, I think he was wanting something that wasn't going to happen. Sorry, man, I'm married.
You should reply that. Anyways.
I'm sorry. I figured if it made me laugh.
No, right, you're right, Ryan. I mean, there's nobody saying, hey, you get, don't do that, Hello?
Ryan, are you there?
Right. Or trying to explain, hey, this is why. Let's go over the reasons why it's like this is bad, or why we're the ones who aren't getting laid or something like that. And
well,
I want my
we're going to
Reeboks.
overcome that versus like all these women suck. Fuck these chicks, right? Like it's not our fault. It's totally their fault. And nobody ever says like, wait, what?
But I would say the other thing, though, because what was reminding me of is church groups, because with church groups, there's a standard, there's a Bible, and you have somebody who's at least saying, hey, this is not what this is. I mean, like I was saying, like this, there are a bunch of people who feed off each other in the wrong way. Like they say, hey, this woman did this, Oh, because I was trying to figure out, like, well, the reason I say this, like, what other groups are really like this in some ways? I mean, because there's like these incel freaks who, for some reason, just don't pay for a fucking hooker. I mean, seriously.
You know what the difference is shame. The people who thought like they were the only ones who fucking, beat off to some, I don't know, fucking
midget clown porn.
What do you call it? Well, there's that. I was going to go back to
Clop clop.
There, but the only one that
Yuri.
likes cartoon
Or
porn,
Yuri.
and you find people
Yuri?
that are like, hey, no,
That
you're
was-
not the only one. You can be, you don't have to be that ashamed of it. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. But these people have no shame, and they need some.
They need some.
They fucking need some. Shame to be a wonderful thing if used correctly.
I don't know if I would use shame, though. Maybe a sense
No, shame. Fucking shame.
I don't know.
Shame on you.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, because my first thought is what they need to do is just talk to somebody who doesn't have a tick. It's just, I don't know. It's just, I don't understand. I've met those guys, and I don't understand I don't understand them. Like all of a sudden, because somebody happens to be a woman and they can't get lucky for some reason. I don't get it. I really don't understand it.
Yeah, no, I don't understand. And part of it is we're trying to something that I don't think can be understood the way that we want it to be.
Well, I mean, part of it,
like I don't think there's ever going to be a satisfactory answer for why these dudes somehow think that it's these women who aren't giving them the time of day, and it's these other people.
Part of it,
there's a level of denial there. It's pretty crazy.
I mean, part of it, what I think it is it's they're probably geeks, because I've been a geek my whole life, and I've had people.
Now these fuckers are beyond fucking.
Well, but hold on.
These guys aren't just fucking not getting laid because they're playing too much World of Warcraft.
Well, no, I mean I think they're like they're the geeks or the nerds or the stereotypical D&D guys. They may not necessarily have. Yeah, I mean they're the neckbeards. They're a certain type of people, and I was a geek, or I got excited about certain things, and.
But did you wear a fedora?
No.
I don't know. My inner Dr. Drew is yelling trauma.
But for me, I'm 6'5", and I was that tall in high school and practically middle school. I mean, there weren't too many people that would pick on me that way, but I think part of it is it's what is it? It's they don't like themselves. They don't bathe. They're not taking the steps necessarily, I think, to help their self-esteem. And I think if you get
but they're blaming all of the problems on the wrong side. Like there's it's almost too much self-esteem. Like it can't be me. It can't be my fucking fault.
I guess I'd say that it's the wrong type of self-esteem.
No, I get what Ryan's saying. He's saying that they don't look at it as an interior issue. They look at it as exterior affecting them.
Yeah. They don't have that friend. Like we all have that friend.
You're a bitch.
I just happen to have a lot of those type of friends that'll say, "Dude, what's your problem?" Like,
yeah, I'm acting like a fucking asshole.
That's pretty much all of my friends. Matter of fact, if I say one thing, I'm going to get half a dozen text messages or more saying the same fucking thing.
Yeah, only assholes alphabetize their fucking desktop icons.
Hey, I if I had time, I'd alphabetize my movies by genre.
Well, we've done that.
I just don't have the time now.
You know what's fucked up is I've had fantasies about that. Like just having like a perfectly curated, and we keep rearranging them in different ways. You guys ever seen High Fidelity?
Yeah,
that's almost the way I am.
Remember the opening scene when he's sitting there, almost like he's rearranging it by chronological order.
Yep,
or by the memories of.
Yeah,
right,
no,
but yeah, like in the order that he did whatever in, and like I would do that constantly. Like now they're in the order of I don't know, whatever. I can't think of an example right now.
That's why I like just alphabetizing, and I want to alphabetize my movies. I just don't have enough time, or I don't have enough time away from my son so it can actually stay in.
No, see, I do like what Ryan was saying, like genres, and then you separate them by genre and then alphabetize.
Yeah, directors and.
Oh,
yeah.
So, but how far are you going to go? I mean, because you're going to do that because here's my thing. Most of my collection is anime at this point. So am I going to do it by genres of anime? Oh, this is fantasy. This is action. This is more of a harem, type of thing. Or are you going to just do it based off of Japanese? Or are you going to do it based off of, this American, this is Japanese, this, how far down the rabbit hole do you want to go?
Did you just say harem anime?
Harem anime is basically described as you have.
I know. I'm just giving you shit.
Oh, yeah, because
I know what harem anime is.
Some of the harem anime is really good. It's just some of the shtick they use gets annoying.
True.
There's an anime I've watched recently that's hilarious. Like, so Goblin
Hunter.
No, but this guy, God kills this guy, sends down like a lightning bolt or something, literally kills this guy.
Oh, this one.
So God brings him up to heaven and says, sorry, I killed you. And the guy's like, what can you do about it? It's too late now. So God brings him to another world full of, magic and blah, blah, blah. This guy's like insta-gib on everything. He's the most powerful person in this universe. It's hilarious. And, and so there's a bunch of girls around him and some harem. Do you know what harem anime is?
That's what I was just wondering.
So basically,
you don't know, Ryan?
Basically, what the description of harem anime, I've never seen this reversed, by the way. Usually it's one guy and there's a bunch of girls that like him one way or another. The first time I was ever introduced to this type of anime is called, there's an anime called Tenchi Mayu. It's a really old anime series. And so pretty much the same way, there's like 4 girls that are madly in love with him. And usually the ones I've seen is the guys doesn't feel that way usually about any of them.
Most of the guys hate him though.
I wouldn't say hate it, but they may like one chick, but there's some fun stories with it. But some of the stock things they do is kind of annoying. Like they'll fight against each other for the love of this guy because he's so worth it, and type of thing. Are you there, Ryan?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. You're not missing much generally, but there are some good ones. And at this point, I just go, I'm just into certain simple storytelling, and it's a very overused.
What, harem anime?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's not like. Well,
because
it's not like hentai though. That's the differences. I mean.
Well, yes, but I mean, it's.
But of course, there is a hentai version of it.
Oh yes. Well, I mean, it's like how the 80s and early 90s, all the anime I remember was very cyberpunkish. And it went from that to, for a while, there was a lot of harem anime type of things that would come that I was able to actually find. Because in the early to mid 90s to late 90s, anime was impossible to find if you didn't fucking buy it.
Oh, true.
So it just after a while you just get sick of it, and now I'm just like, hey, bring me back to Cyberpunk. I much prefer
Well,
that.
that's why I ended up buying so many different animes, is because of the fact that, you have to go buy it to be able to watch it. There wasn't like, YouTube was around, but it wasn't like it is now, and there wasn't as many streaming sites as there are.
That's one of the reasons why I haven't bought any anime in years. I mean, I'll buy an anime here or there, but for $7 I get Crunchyroll. It's $7 a month, and it's almost a la carte. Some of the stuff is actually simultaneous. So as it's released in Japan, it's released here. And I much prefer that, because then I don't have all this anime cluttering my house.
Well, I've been watching so much anime recently is because, I don't feel like I have the attention span to read, and I really cannot stand some of the voice actors of the dubbed. They've gotten terrible.
In all honesty, 99% of everything that I've watched, which has basically been on Crunchyroll, is all subtitled. Yeah. And so the only reason I watch dub nowadays is just to see what the voice actors are like. And I'm not biased towards one or another. It's just it comes subtitled. The biggest annoyance to me was my biggest annoyance to me about it was, if you take a look at Naruto, the Japanese one took it fairly seriously, and then the American one,
it was all jokes.
Yeah, it just...
Yeah, that's why I've always kind of preferred subtitles and that kind of shit. I mean, really, whatever language it is, even if I don't understand it, I can still get there's different inflection.
Yeah, the only ones that I ever found that I prefer the dubbed version over the subbed is Berserk and Hellsing. And I've watched them with the subbed and the Japanese voice actors, and I don't know, just for some reason, those I prefer. The
dubbed guts is awesome.
Yeah. I just prefer it better that way, and I mean, plus you get the outtakes. On some of
the anime, like, my favorite thing to do, depending on which one it is to have it dubbed and subtitled.
Oh,
because how they interpret things is hilarious. I think it's the OVA, a shadow skill.
Yeah, Fang.
There's no. It's like, because it's not the series. It's the actual OVA.
Oh, the OVA.
And there's this thing that for some reason she talks about something about the legs of a golden something or other.
Yeah.
And what the dub says, and if I remember correctly, what the subtitles say, they completely mismatch. And it's just like, how did you get one from the other?
I don't know. I think they're probably just reading a script. Well,
because part of it, because language doesn't 100% translate. I guarantee you there's words or sayings in Japanese that don't translate into English very well, because I know there is for us.
Like Tang.
Well, that was because I'm pretty sure the guy was trying to spell everything phonetically.
Yeah, but how do you switch a T and an F?
English? I really don't have an answer. So the story behind this is I
you still haven't given me that. You told me you were going to.
I thought, no, I gave it to you.
Okay, maybe I have it somewhere then.
Years ago, I bought a bootleg of Shadow Skill. It's one of my all-time favorite. And what I didn't realize is it was the worst subtitled job in history. So instead of saying, like, there's a part where this character says, tang, as in tang of a sword. But what the person says is fang.
What they wrote is fang.
Every single instance of tang was fang, and everything was mismatched. And it took a little while to figure out what they meant. So as James,
like years, we were watching it like one day, and I think we were watching the OVA, and we're like, wait a minute. Tang? Oh, tang of a sword? Oh my God, that makes so much more sense.
We were kind of decrypting it until I actually bought another version of it, and it was actually done correctly.
Yeah.
God. It's like, James, what? Read. You know, like, I told you.
It's a pretty good. I really like that anime series, though.
There was one company who I've never found since who released amazing bootlegs. And I was always kind of pissed that some of these companies who release animes never did something similar. Like, instead of having, like, every episode on a single effing DVD, you could have 3 or 4 DVDs in a small slim case.
Yeah, and a freaking 16-hour video.
Oh yeah, that was Aurora Battler Dunbind, the bootleg I bought 20 years ago or whatever it was, or 15. The first disc is like 10 and a half hours long.
Yeah.
Ryan,
gonna finish this disc.
Are you there?
He fell asleep.
I would say you're awfully quiet. You're not commenting about how I have a DVD that has like 10 and a half hours of content on it of 30-minute episodes.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Still not as good as the Bleach one I bought.
Well,
I was just thinking that it was, people, like forgot about the plight of the bootlegger back in the day. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like how you used to get shit and it was passed around like fucking drugs.
Well, my favorite thing for a while on Amazon, and this was 15 plus years ago, you would look for the DVDs labeled import.
No.
And if y'all don't know this, what it is DVDs are region coded. US is region 1. I think Japan or England. Yeah, England's region 2. So this basically what this helps to do is release dates. That's the reason they were made. So, for example, a region 2 DVD will not work in a region 1 coded DVD player. And so imports were pretty much bootlegged, and Amazon didn't catch on to this for years. So if I wanted an anime series and say like the box set costs like $300 to $400, which some of them did, I would buy the import version, and then later on I would buy the actual version. But it always made me laugh. I'm like, oh, cool, an import. And it's like, wait a minute, you can't do that.
No, not anymore.
Well, nowadays it's easy because there's software that'll help you strip the region encoding.
Oh, that's true, but
because I know people who have done that for certain content that's not available in the U.S. So they'll get something they really like and they'll do that. Well, you can't blame them. I mean, if you want a movie or a series or whatever and it's not available in your country.
Oh, I used to have that one DVD player that played everything.
I think you can still get them, but I think they're still outrageously expensive. Yours was a cheapo, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
I wonder if Ryan's having connectivity issues, because he sure doesn't talk as much as normal.
I'm fucking here.
Then talk.
I mean, what do you want me to tell you?
He's not into anime as much.
Well, I mean, we're talking about hardware movies.
Yeah, you guys are.
I mean, we could go back to Rule 34 conversation for Ryan.
No, I'm pretty sure what he was watching is he was going through our clop. I just read something that was funny that Miley Cyrus, when she let Disney use her name, she actually lost the rights to her using her name.
What?
So
because that's not a real name, though, right?
It's in her.
Well, obviously, it's not a real name.
It's a nickname, I think.
Yeah.
But if I know, isn't she like Hannah Montana too, or something?
For example, there's a wrestler by the name of his work name is Cody Rhodes. His first name's Cody. His last name's not Rhodes. And so when he signed with DVD, he signed with WWE. He said, "Yeah, you can use Cody Rhodes." What he didn't realize at the time, he's actually signing away in perpetuity his legal right to use the last name Rhodes. Now, his dad, Dusty Rhodes, being a legendary wrestler, went by Dusty Rhodes everywhere. Cody Rhodes, however, cannot use Rhodes unless WWE releases the trademark on it. So basically, that's what she did. Is she signed away her.
He can. I mean, if he's in good standing with them, you know what I mean. They're not going to flip him a ton of shit for it.
Yeah, well,
but, as soon as he decides to leave and they want to be a dick, they know they got that in their back pocket.
Well, partially, he's gone by Cody. I mean, trying to make a brand, even though I think Cody Rhodes is a name just because of his dad. But he actually is helping to found a new wrestling promotion, so he'll never be allowed to use the last name.
Oh yeah, no chance.
So that's what Miley Cyrus did, is basically by signing on the line on Disney, she gave up the right apparently to use that, because I think her original name was Destiny or something, something with an, E attached to it.
Really?
Yeah, I remember hearing that.
I honestly have to say I never really gave that much of a shit about her.
There's just some things I've heard in passing. Oh, here it is. I don't know. Wow. Destiny Hope Cyrus.
Really?
Some reason, some random stuff sticks with me because...
Destiny Hope Cyrus. All right.
Yeah. She can actually sing. She does a
Yeah, she
version
can.
of
Jolene.
Jolene. Is one of my favorite versions of that she's done.
Oh yeah, no shit.
Pretty much anything anybody's done but Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
And, I don't personally, I'm not a big fan of her because her shtick in concerts and other things, but she really can sing.
Yeah. Yeah, her version of Jolene is really good. Of course, Dolly Parton. I was never really a big Dolly Parton fan, but there's a couple songs that I really liked of hers. So, I mean,
I'm a fan of Dolly Parton's songs. I'm just not necessarily a fan of her singing because she's a prolific writer. I've heard she's probably one of the top 10 all-time American songwriters.
I never followed her career that closely to even give you a yes or no on that. I'll just have to say, okay.
Was it Tina Turner's biggest hit in the 80s, if I remember correctly? Was a Dolly Parton song? I didn't hear that.
I know. That's all right.
Was it I Will Always Love You or something like that? I think is technically
A Dolly song?
Dolly's song.
Yeah, it's not technically. It's our song.
Yeah. So I've heard she's an amazingly prolific. I heard somewhere a couple of years ago that she could literally just disappear. Never do anything. She'll never have to work again solely based on the amount of songs.
I would believe that.
If she had,
she hasn't worked for a long time.
She has Dollywood out there in Branson.
Yeah.
I don't know if Dolly Parton has kids, but it's one of those things that her kids will never have to work just based on her the amount of songs she's written. I don't know if she does.
Yeah,
I'm curious.
I actually don't know if she
I'm
has
sure
any.
she does.
I don't know. It was a Littlest Whorehouse in Texas or some shit. What was that movie that she did? She probably has some kids from that.
I'm curious now if Dolly Parton has.
She did that one movie 9 to 5.
Yeah, but I mean, I really don't know that much about Dolly other than that she has Dollywood. And she did the Whorehouse movie.
Wow, she was born in 46. She looks pretty good for somebody her age and the amount of surgery she's had.
Yeah, she never had kids.
Really?
I wonder what
That kind of surprises me.
I wonder what she's going to do with her song rights. I wonder if she's going to give them to the Peter Pan. The rights to Peter Pan is owned by a hospital. So anytime anybody does anything with Peter Pan, the hospital gets money.
I did not know that.
No shit.
Yeah.
Huh. That's pretty cool, actually.
If I remember correctly.
Yeah.
God, they must have really aided on that
Wow,
Pan
why
movie.
the fuck would they ever put that back on the shelf?
What do you mean?
That's kind of a dick move.
What do you mean?
If they put it in moratorium or whatever it's fucking called over there when they lock it in the Disney vault.
Oh.
It was locked away for DVD sale for a long ass time.
Huh. Maybe that's because Disney wasn't making money off it.
Well, part of it. Now, I've heard one of the conspiracy theories about the reason they do that is it also helps them retain the copyright. So if they put it away and every 10 years they re-release it, when they re-release it, they're also redoing the trademarks that are on their version of it, also doing the copyrights. So in perpetuity, they'll always own it because of the way they do it with the release cycle.
It doesn't surprise me.
That makes sense.
The mouse owns everything, so yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't mess with the mouse.
100%.
Yeah.
Here it is. So according to this, it's allegedly the Osmond Street Hospital for Children owns the copyright, and allegedly. And it says until 2023. Now this is kind of a quick and dirty Google search.
Until 2023? Is it like they got it in 1923?
Something like that, yeah.
Huh.
I'm not
That's
sure.
an old ass hospital.
Or whenever the gentleman died. I actually think that's a cool move. I mean, if you're a guy or a girl who wrote an amazing story and you want to help children, I think that's one hell of a way to do it is sign over the rights when you pass away if you don't have kids.
Well,
I mean, you don't have the power of Disney behind you, so eventually you're going to lose the copyright, but...
yeah, but still, I mean, that's a pretty cool thing, though. I mean, I wonder if they could re-up that at any point.
Maybe. I don't know.
Probably not, though. If it's like 100-year, because that's what it seems like. If they're going to lose in 2023, it seems like they were awarded it or given it in 1923, and probably only has like 100-year.
I don't actually know how. I don't know how you. Well, I know. Well, if you look at Tolkien, I mean, the Tolkien books have been copyrighted a bunch of times. Because if you look at like the latest release, it'll say, copyright this, copyright that. So I wonder if that's the way to do it.
I have no idea how fucking copyrights work.
No,
yeah, me neither.
The only thing I know is Disney is the reason why copyrights are pretty much like 1,000 years, because they were really close a couple of times to losing the mouse, so they would fight for extension on copyrights. Now, the only thing is they own the trademark to it. So in theory, from what I understand, is you may not be able to use anything with Mickey Mouse because they own the trademark to Mickey Mouse and the character.
Right.
However,
if you the fucking sued Dead Mouse, the DJ, for having the shape in like a silhouette be somewhat similar.
Yeah, the only thing about that, though, is like if they lose the copyright to it, I don't know. It has to be a certain percentage different. But that's also the reason why I'm a big fan of Ed Big Daddy Roth, is because his version of the mouse, the Rat Fink.
Okay.
He hated Disneyland. That's from the stories I've heard. That's why he came up with the Rat Fink, because his dislike of Disney and its perfect.
Well, it definitely wasn't done out of love for Mickey Mouse.
No.
What makes you say such a thing?
Have you seen the Rat Fink?
Well, yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I still always I was always amused by the Simpsons take on the mouse. I always thought that was great.
And me, it was always South Park.
So
Uh,
I don't know. I always like Steamboat Itchy.
Right. Yeah, but South Park did it where they were getting their ass kicked by Mickey Mouse.
I do that.
He was yeah.
So,
but they also
I
did.
think, who was he beating up? Justin Bieber or something?
Oh, I think it was. Yeah.
So you want to know what the most depressing thing I've read today is, and I just because I live in cubicle land. My desk faces a wall in a windowless office, so I printed out and put up a picture of a window with a garden view. You'd be surprised to know how it actually helps. That is the most depressing thing I've read.
Yeah, that is fucking sad.
So, did you guys ever read Dilbert?
Not in a very long time.
Dilbert is ridiculously spot on to corporate America. Like, I used to read it just because it's so similar. Like, I used to work at a big box store, and there was a TV show called Super Center for a while. I couldn't watch it because it was almost dead on to the big box store. I mean, like, people would do something, like somebody would say, hey, here's this, and give them a box. Why is that? It looks like you're busy. Okay. They would hold the box and walk around. They do that at this particular big box store. So it was really hard to watch. This big box store even has a corporate cheer that if you hit at the right moment, you get to hear a very weird corporate cheer. And you can tell that certain people are into it because they're clapping and they're happy and they're, and
always weirded me out the people that were happy for that shit.
Yeah, there's something mentally wrong with those people.
It's weird.
Like I was, my eyes were always looking left to right, like anybody else buying this shit. Just
that's how it was.
Hopefully, glancing at the people that were also looking around, like who the fuck here is falling for this? I want to know these people, so I can avoid them.
I was just about to say, I was gonna say the same thing about the high school rallies and bullshit like that, but I actually never went to one. And they were mandatory.
My freshman year, I went to every single rally the freshman year, and then I met James, and I never went to one after that. There was
my
literally
favorite one. Were you with me when Robin, literally walked me to the door of the gym?
There was.
So hold on. Robin walked me to the door, and I think I was with
Robin
my
is a
friend
narc,
King.
by the way, if anybody doesn't
Yeah,
know.
she's one of our narcs at the school. She
I
walked
was
us
gonna say, you want to explain who the fuck
to the door,
Boy wonder.
and I went into the door and went right down the middle of the gym and out the other door.
I did that a
That's
couple
the
of
closest
times.
I ever came to going to a rally.
Actually, yeah.
So I just went right down the middle of the basketball court and left.
I did that at one point and had another narc meet me at the other door. So I walked through the same door I had been forced to go in the first time, and the narc disappeared and just kind of walked off. They eventually our high school actually told everybody, look, if you don't want to go to the rally, go to the cafeteria. And I'm pretty sure there was more people in the cafeteria than there were in the gym for the rally.
I didn't do that either. I didn't go to the
that makes
cafeteria.
There
I
was
just wandered around and smoked.
half the time I would go in the cafeteria just because I got tired of some of the principals hounding me. Like,
It never bothered me.
there was actually my favorite thing all time of high school happened at James. Is before school, like a week or two before school, you'd pick up your schedule, and he actually had a vice principal tell him, like, I won't put up with your shit this year.
Guess what he did? He put up with my shit again.
The greatest part about it
And I
is
still graduated.
the greatest part about it, his Alzheimer's must have kicked in because he's like, no, I never said that. And I was with James when he said that, and so was James's ex-girlfriend, and we're both looking at it's like, dude, stop lying. You had at least one other person who heard you say that. He must have been smoking too many bowls.
Apparently. He's also the one that told me they were taking bets on whether or not I'd actually graduate.
That's probably the reason you did graduate.
I really don't know. I do have my diploma from that school, though.
The one thing you don't want to do is tell James something like that, because he'll do whatever you don't want to do just in spite. If it causes you,
James might be the most spiteful person, but not necessarily.
it's not evil.
Cut off his nose to spite his face, and it's not evil. It's just like, oh, you think I won't?
And it's
Like,
and if you say that and it will somehow fuck you, the person who says that, he'll do it just to screw with you because you dared to say something stupid.
Yeah.
but even if it would screw him, like not screw him, like I mean, he's not gonna get himself fired. Like, oh, I bet you won't get yourself fired. Like it's not like that, but. Like, the kind of shit, I'll bet you won't stab yourself in the leg with that thing. He'll just look at you and start, just something that equivalent.
This
Where
is
it's
you
like
laughing because I had some chick say, I bet you won't staple your thumb. I still have the scar. Because I didn't just put the staple on there. I put it in between and then smashed the thing onto my thumb and pulled the staple out of the bone.
And having James for a roommate was always entertaining because he'd come home once in a while and with this very kind of Cheshire cat grin, he'll say, guess what I experienced today? I say, okay, what was that? I felt this bounce off of this and hit this. It's like,
No, it was a bread knife going over a bone.
no, you said that a couple of times on different
Oh,
knives.
Yeah.
So it's
I did
just
have
like,
a few bounce off shit. Anyways,
so we're like, oh, it's like, and why was this fun? It's like, oh, I've never experienced that before. It's like, wow, you and I are so different. Now let me go kick your ass in
That was
Halo.
what I was going to explain is that it doesn't affect James the way people would assume that it would. So it's not like oh, I'm going to do this thing to prove how tough I am or some shit like that. It's just, I don't mind.
yeah, I really don't give a shit.
Well, it reminds me of like his mom years ago put up a Facebook status that James was a pain, and everybody who knew James were like, seriously? And then later on, his mom or somebody made a comment about, if you don't know James, if he says he's in pain,
Yeah, no shit.
because I've seen James do shit that would be like, yeah, just make you wince.
Just like, okay, that was fun, interesting.
Yeah, and I have a real fucking low fucking pain threshold.
Hence the reason
You know
he
what I
doesn't
mean?
look in the mirror.
I mean, I don't even own one. Why would? No point of
Well, I've always asked doctors, like, does that hurt? me or a normal person? Because me, it's like, meh.
Every time I've had a doctor say, does this hurt? I've always wanted to do it back, and it's only decorum that I've never actually done it. Like when they whack you with that triangle thing. Hey, does this hurt? Whack. I've always wanted to take it. No, but does this?
I still remember shortly after my car accident.
If he was asking you while whacking you with the triangle thing, does this hurt? He was doing it wrong.
True. I shortly after my car accident, I remember a doctor came up and he pushed on my neck right around the pressure point area, but my whole body was hypersensitive, so it actually felt like he stabbed me in the neck. He poked me with a finger, and I just looked at him. I said, "Don't do that." And he looked at me. He's like, "Did that hurt?" I said, "Don't do that." So he pokes me again. I said, "If you do that one more time, I'm going to punch you in the face." And my mom was in the room, and she looked at me and gave me a look, and then told the doctor to do it again. That doctor learned not to come back in my room. I didn't punch him, but he left.
But if anybody's wondering where James got his award-winning personality, it's from his mom. and she, I love his mom dearly, but still not a woman at her age I'd want to piss off.
Yeah, no.
Matter of fact, they even have an older person there from South Africa who's threatened to stab me with knitting needles a lot.
Yeah, she's a sweet lady.
As long as she's not using those fucking needles.
I met that lady. She was sweet.
She's still around.
My favorite moment of hers was her son came to town.
She's still around?
Yeah, Thor.
Yeah, she's still around. So she said something in South African.
That woman was 104 when I met her.
Hopefully she doesn't listen to the show.
Yeah, no kidding.
I can give her an address.
Right. She'll drive down just to fucking do it. Like she's
I'm sorry. Let me do this show thinking that there's an old lady listening. If she was listening, I hope you wouldn't tell me.
She's listening and she loves
I'm
you.
I'm sure she turned it off within the first 5 minutes of this show.
I mean, fucking one would
Reddit. What?
Right? I don't need to listen to this shit. I've got better things to do.
What is this My Little Pony stuff, and why is there apparently a porn of it?
Rule 34, Thor.
Right. I
Yeah.
I have two tea cozies to make. So my favorite story involving...
You know that thing that your kids use called the internet? See, there's rules, okay, hon?
So, oh, God. Rule 34 is never a rule I've ever wanted to explain to somebody older than me. Just because...
I love explaining. It's my favorite thing is explaining to people older than me.
I have no desire to explain it to my parents, especially my mom.
Oh, I'm sure your dad knows about the rule.
I love the conversation with the older crowd. Doesn't matter how much, and usually over 55 helps because they're, a little more disconnected from everything modern.
So
hey, you know how crazy the world's gotten lately? Let me tell you.
So have you talked to your mom about Rule 34?
I'm sure I have.
Because I guarantee your dad knows, just probably from some of his internet browsing.
I'm sure he's inferred by now, yeah.
He's into whatever old people like. Fibber McGee and Molly porn, which at this point would be necrophilia.
That's the thing is that
I'm sure you can find B. Arthur porn.
Old people, young people aren't into anything fucking new.
Yeah.
Like there's fucking son.
I wish I knew what the rest of your sentence was going to be, man. Ryan, are you there?
Thinking that they're...
Hey, Ryan, you're breaking up pretty bad there, man. Hello?
What?
There he is.
There you go. You broke up pretty badly. By the way, do you know who's older than sliced bread?
You broke up bad.
Betty White. Betty White is actually older than sliced bread.
Yeah.
And I'm not actually joking. She really is.
No. That's true. Although the saying is better than sliced bread.
Well, that too, but she's also older than it. And according to some really weird friends of mine, they've discovered porn of Betty White when she was much younger, which really surprised me.
I haven't found the porn, but I've seen pictures of her
No
as a
chance.
younger lady. She was very attractive.
Well,
She
that's
was a dime.
well, that surprises me. The fact there's nudes of Betty White, though, especially in an era where that
chance.
wasn't really particularly. That was somewhat
Frowned
found
upon.
on. Matter of
Yeah,
fact,
there's no way that there's news that exists of her.
no, there are.
No chance.
There's nudes of Betty White.
No, negative.
I dare you to look it up because I'm not.
Oh, I absolutely plan on looking it up, but there's no way they're going to be real.
You never know. It's not like she's going to admit it.
Dude, there's no way that fucking there's news of Betty White that exists ever.
Sylvester Stallone's first movie was a porn, so why
I
can't
did know that.
Betty White? Can't there be nudes of Betty White?
Never wanted to watch the slime porn.
I just know it. There is. I don't have no desire. I have no intention of watching it. I just know there is.
Yeah, there are definitely not fucking nudes of Betty White out there.
Ryan.
She'd be taking news in 1940. What?
Rule 34.
No, I get that there would be a porn of Betty White, like
Not porn.
parody or something of that nature.
I misspoke when I said porn. I mean, but there are.
No. I nude photographs,
Yeah.
whatever. Like you know the effort one would have to go through to even take nude photographs back then.
Well, one of the things you don't understand is back then it was illegal in a lot of places. It was actually lewd and lascivious content. So back then there was actually money in it to some degree. So I would not be surprised if stuff like that really existed, from what I'm told. I don't doubt it.
Something tells me if that did exist, it would have been out 40 years ago. And maybe 20.
You never know. I know she's like, what was it? I think she has the record for longevity on TV.
And by the way, it just sounds like something that the internet would make up.
Well, I'd rather see.
Well, I would give you this that back in what the early 2000s, there was a lot of really badly done celebrity lookalike porn where they would like basically take one of the more famous ones was Jennifer Aniston. They would crop her face on a lot of porn actresses and claim that was Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah, that's the thing is photoshopping is nothing new.
So
So they could do that of Betty White, and they could probably do it really well now.
So
They could have done it 100 years ago.
So, excuse me. I did a quick and dirty search, and there's a comment on Jezebel. I was actually looking for news stories about it. And it says, Betty White's recent pinup calendar isn't out of character. She was a model in the 40s and 50s, and sometimes there weren't any clothes involved. That girl next door smile makes these shots more sweet than sexy. So it seems like it was real because I was told it was true. I've never actually looked for them.
Did you look it up
I'm
on
fucking
Snopes?
looking now.
Let's see. Rumor has it the photos of Betty White and her late husband and compromising in various stages of undress are being shopped around Hollywood. This is simply not true. Betty White, let's see. I don't know. Well, I'm not a big fan of Jezebel.com, so I'm curious because I've heard there was. So I'm. Oh yeah, like number 5 on here is Pornhub. Like I'm really gonna click that.
Betty White has a Pornhub account?
These
Ryan.
days.
Ryan,
Huh.
go look up Betty White's Pornhub account.
Sorry, I'm looking on Pinterest.
Oh, no.
So just type in.
No.
That's what comes up. So
No,
this
that can't- no.
this
I'm looking
show
at the face thing, and look at that. That's a crop.
this show definitely came to a dribble.
It definitely does look like.
Wait a second.
So
They're
easy to
saying
do that on
there's
black and white too.
playing cards of Betty White
I don't-
nude? That's bullshit.
Playing cards I call shenanigans unless they're modern day. They're definitely not from the 40s and
Well,
50s.
that's what they're saying. Like right there, they're saying that 10 of hearts is Betty White. That is not Betty White. There's no way that. And a 9 of hearts is Betty White. Okay, that's not how playing card nudes go. Okay, it's not the same. You don't get a full Betty White deck, idiots.
This coming from the connoisseur of nude.
I don't
nude
own
cards.
any of them, but I've
Anymore.
looked at a couple of them. I've had people like, oh, here's my nude
Okay,
playing
so
cards.
apparently these are all from like 2010.
The crop
Finding an article
on a couple
now
of those
that,
is just bad.
that they're faked here.
Yeah, I've heard they're faked. I've heard they're real. I've heard they're
Rumors have
whatever.
been circulating around the web that
I
photos of
call
Betty White,
bullshit on
nude,
playing
husband,
card
TV
nudes of Betty
show.
White.
Well, Jezebel is the most was it known website because the rest is like Bob's House of News, Bob's House of Dudes.
Yeah,
Jezebel's.
apparently they were found in her old house. This
What?
is simply not her.
Bob's
This
House
has
of
come up over the
Nudes?
years.
Just,
People
you know,
claim they
making
have
up a
photos of
name.
Betty and Alan.
So we're gonna have to call this to a close.
Yeah, this has been our porn episode.
Hey, you know,
Let's call it not our porn episode, our Rule 34 episode.
Yes, this is something I never actually view.
I will have to agree with Ryan on this one. I call bullshit on the Betty White nudes, especially after the quick image search coming up. The first 3 of those were poorly cropped.
I mean,
Face swaps.
I would be curious to see if they're real or not. I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was like maybe 3. Maybe 3 that survived longer than sliced bread.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they're nudes back then, especially considering how the industry was for women. You never really know, especially if you look at some of the stories that came out of the golden age of movies.
But not enough for a deck of cards.
Oh, no. Unless it was the same picture over and over again. So, ladies and gentlemen, as this episode's started with a finish and with a wipe.
You know, we didn't lose anybody at tentacle porn.
No, we did not. And we don't have to look at Rainn Wilson's face, so I'm happy at that. So, ladies and gentlemen, for the California Pariah, the Fat Man, and the guy who decided not to be lazy this week, as always, thank you for listening.
Goodbye.